Black eyes looking.
What's his name? The third, your guy, John Russell. Of course.
Okay, so we're going to go through before we begin. We're going to go through a few psukim. We're going to go through a few psukim. This is one. I want to do another one. The other one, stop shit. Okay. Okay, it says B'zayis Taras HaNazir B'yom Ulos Yimei Nisro. This is I'm holding in Perek Vav Pasuk in my bidma Perek Vav Pasuk Yud Gimel. B'zayis Taras HaNazir B'yom Ulos Yimei Nisro. These are I sent this out on the phone. If you're interested, if not, you can open a chumash. B'zayis Taras HaNazir B'yom Ulos Yimei Nisro. Yavi Yasel Pesach Al Moed. And you should he should bring him Pesach Al Moed. We spoke out beautiful. Chachma, Yavi Yisai, like the Yetzirah is something that is not, it's not you, it's separate from you. Because it should say, boy, he comes. It says, Yavi Yisai, bring him. It's talking about himself. So bring him. It's very fascinating Lashon. Then it says, V'hikriv es karbonoi Lashem. What does he bring? Kevis ben Shinasai Tamim, a male 1-year-old sheep, La'oila. V'kavsa achas bashinasa Tamim Lechatas. And a female sheep of 1-year-old is Karmachatas, Va'ayil Echad Tamim, and he brings what? An ayil, he brings an ayil, he brings a ram. He brings a ram as a I don't want this. He brings a ram. He brings a ram as a carbon mat. He brings a ram as a carbon shlamim. The sal matzos, he brings a basket of matzos, soiles chalois, belulas b'shemen. One is chalois that is soaked in oil, or kikei matzos meshuchim b'shamen, and wafers that are anointed with oil. U'min chasam. Now, so we have 3 karbanis. We have the oil of the chatas and the shlamim. In addition, he's bringing 2 types of breads. Again, bread is a euphemism. It's matzah. It's not chametz. One is called chalois and one is called rekikin, and he brings that as a basket. Now, the hikra kohen lefnei Hashem v'asas chatasai v'yasalasai. He brings his chatas, he brings his oila. V'yasa'ayil yaseh zevach shlomim laHashem, and the ayil he should bring as a zevach shlomim laHashem. Al salah matzos, with the salah matzos, the shlomim is accompanied by these wafers, these matzos. V'yasa kohen es minchasai v'esniskai, and the kohen brings his mincha and his nesach, meaning the accompanying wines, libations. The gilach hanazir, this is the key pasuk, guys. The gilach hanazir pesach oil mayed. Mashma, the nazir shaves his head where? In the opening of the oil mayed, which is shaniknar. Mashma, mamish the base of milk, you give me a haircut. Mamish by shin, yeah, you give me a haircut. Es roish nizroi, v'lakach es sa'ar roish nizroi. What do? You take that hair, v'nasan ala eish, and you put it on the fire. Shetachas zevach hashlamim, that's underneath the zevach hashlamim. So one of the focus is going to be, guys, pasuk yud ches. It says the nazar takes the shaving in the Pesach el Moed to think that you're going to use the based on Migdash, the Azara, right before the Azara as a barbershop is kind of not okay. Be aware, guys, when the picture of the Beis Hamikdash, when you walked in, there was an Ezra Shnashim, and there were 4 cubicles. The first one on your right was the southeast. Beis Hamikdash, you're walking from east to west. So if you turn to the right, the first cubicle is the southeast cubicle. That's called Lishkas Hanazirim. That's where they would cook this carbon, and that's where most people hold you would take your haircut. You take your haircut there, you cook in the shlom, you throw it underneath the pot. Okay, but this is going to be a focus. We're going to see it's different shittas of Tanaim in the Gemara exactly. So again, engrave this pasuk in your memory, and things will go well. The Gila Chanasa Pesach al Mayed, and the Nazir takes a haircut at the Pesach al Mayed. That seems to be the key, and we'll see Bez Hashem the Gemara. Let's see out to the Shmaya. Okay, so we are on Mem Hey. We're holding Mem Hey on an Aleph the Mishnah. Yesterday we did Tiglachas HaTuma. Today we're doing Tiglachas HaTahira. This is the Yemos Yimei Nizra when he finishes B'Tayrod. So this is Stam Nazir, Stam Yoim. This would be the 31st day. Ketzad Haya. How did the Teglachas, the protocol of the Nazira ending as Naziris occur? Maybe Gimel Behemis, he would bring 3 animals. Chatas Oil Shlamim. The order in the Torah was Oil Chatas Shlamim. Mishnah is Chatas Oil Shlamim. Guys, when you bring 3 animals of Chatas, you always bring the Chatas first. Like this, you get your kapara first, right? You get your Chatas as your kapara, and then Memela, the oil and the Shlamim go after the Chatas. That makes, and that's the order of the Mishnah here. You bring the Chatas first, Shoichet es Shlamim, and Umagaleach Aleihem. You shech the Shlamim, and you would go ahead and be Megaleach on the Shlamim. So you're bringing three kabbanis. It's mashma the shlamim you're bringing first. The mashma, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you're bringing the shlamim first, and you're cutting your hair, shaving. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Allah Aimer, right? Why she'achatas kedemus b'chol makom? In other words, it seems to be whichever animal you're bringing first, that's the animal you're going to shave. Now, everyone's moidi, you're throwing it under the shlamim. There's no shaila about that, right? But at which point in time do you take a haircut to end your naziris is when the first animal you bring. Says Rabbi Yehuda, what's the first animal you bring? Shlamim. Says Rabbi Elazar, what's the first animal you bring? Chatas. So whatever first animal you bring, that's you're going to go ahead and take a haircut. However, if you take your haircut on either chatas, shlamim, or even the oila, yotza b'di'eved, you will be yotzi yichiv. What? Which one? Yeah. After. Okay, now. This is a different halacha. If you bring 3 animals, now usually, fellas, you have to go ahead and designate which is the oila, which is the chatas, which is the shlamim. However, over here, these are 3 distinct animals. None of them are common. You have two 1-year-olds. One's a male, one's a female. Chatas is only bought from a female, usually, unless you're a Helen Davish Tzibor or a Mashiach or a Nasi. It's usually bought from what? From a female. The oila is the male, and the shlamim is an ayil, which is a 2-year-old male, right? So l'chayra, you don't even have to designate. So that's what Shimon says. Hevi gimel behemis le pirish. Haroy lechatas takriv chatas. The 1-year-old female will be a chatas. La'oila, the year-old male will be an oila, takriv oila, and the shlamim, takriv shlamim, and the ayil, which is 2 years old, you can go out as a carbon shlamim. Okay? So now, basically we're discussing, and we have 3 kabbanis, we know you have a golech, we know it goes underneath the shlamim, under the pot of the shlamim that you're going to cook, which we haven't discussed yet, but we got a preview based upon the Torah that we saw, Tanra Baran. The Gilach HaNazir Pesach El Moed. Again, Pasuk Yud Ches. The Nazir takes a haircut. Mashma, where's he taking a haircut? Pesach El Moed. Says the Gemara, the Torah Shel Bapeh, that's not the Taich of the Pasuk. Bishlamim HaKosim Medaber. When it says the Gilach HaNazir Pesach El Moed, it means you're bringing the shlamim, which you're bringing the shlamim. You're bringing the carbon shlamim. That's what. And it's called the gila because you're going to go ahead and take a haircut on the shlamim lechatchila. Therefore, but it doesn't mean you're taking a haircut right in front of the El Moed. The shachli pesach El Moed at oim b'shlamim. Shnemar shachli pesach El Moed. You should check the opening of El Moed. That's why Yikra Gimel. At oim b'shlamim kosim medaber or enel pesach El Moed mamish. Does it mean the shlamim or does it mean that you're shechting it what at the oil Moed? Says the Gemara, Amrit Im Kain, you're going to tell me you take a haircut? Derech Bezayin who? It's a Bezayin. So obviously, fellas, even though the pasuk, the mashmois is you're taking a haircut Pesach al Moed, it means the carbon that you will be megaleach on. The carbon that you will be megaleach. What's that? The shlamim. That's what it means. That's the limit of this one. Everyone holds you megaleach on the shlamim. Everyone holds that, but that's according if you bring the chatas first, according to Balaza. But again, lichatchila, right? Again, he's das yachid Balaza. It seems to be that again most people hold. So this if the Shita Rabbi Yehuda mission, that's Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yeshia, we have the Tanakam over here. Rabbi Yeshia Amar, ain't it sarich? You do not need a pasuk to tell me that you don't need you make a haircut there, right? Hari Amar Torah, the Torah says. Fellas, was it steps or a ramp? Going up to the Mizbeach, guys, steps or a ramp? Why? We all know. Because when the Kohen's going to walk, what that if it steps, he's going to see his erva. And the stones, the inanimate objects, should see his erva. So we're machbit so much b'kedusha on a dine of bizayin of kachim, kol shekain what the Beis Hamikdash atzmai. So therefore, you don't need a pasuk. Kal v'chayim l'derech bizayin. Kal v'chayim l'derech bizayin. Now, so therefore, we have the Tanakama stating that Gilach Pesach Al Moed, it means it's going on what? On the carbon. We have Rabbi Shaya says it's also going on the carbon without a pasuk. From an inference, the fact that was so makbid that he shouldn't take big steps. So therefore, he had a ramp. Look, guys, I told you at the lashon of Nedarim's Mishuna and Nazir's Mishuna. Says Nusachache b'medrash b'parshas Naslei daf reish mem beis. Where in the world did you ever see the Gemara quoting a medrash and telling you the page it's on? So some way it made its way into the Gemara. Obviously, we won't be going to it. Okay, the Gemara takes it out, and obviously, this is a side note that somehow made its way in here. Now it says so. Rabbi Yishai Omer b'Shlomo Hakos. It says v'Gilach HaNazir. Rabbi Yishai Omer b'Shlomo Hakos medaber in Ella and Kachom Torah leSal Kal V'Chayma the Davar Shlei Yigaleach Pesach HaMoed Ella b'Shlomo Hakos medaber. Okay, that's the brackets. Now Rabbi Yitzchak Omer in Tzarich. You don't need the Svara B'Zayin even. I don't need the Svara B'Zayin. In Tzarich. How are you Omer? It says v'Lokach Sar Rosh Nizroi. You take the hair of the Nazir v'Notsan Ala Eish. Now it's mashma that the action is you cut his hair and you put it on the fire. Now, where is that fire? It's not by the Pesach Al Moed. You know where it is? It's in the Lishka HaNazira in the southeast of the Ezras Nashim, right? Misha Eina Mechusta Ela Lekicha Unesina. One action, Lekicha, taking it, Unesina, putting on the fire. Yatza Zeh, if you'd cut his hair by the Pesach Al Moed, you'd have to add another action, guys. You'd have to add the issue of transportation. Taking the hair, haba, bringing it from the Pesach Al Moed to the Nishkas Hanazira, where the Shlonim is cooking, unesina. So obviously it must be that it doesn't mean you're going ahead and cutting his hair by the Pesach Al Moed. It must be you're cutting here what in the Lishkas Hanazira. We said again, there's a even if Giluach is ma'akiv or not, from ending in Naziris. Only Rebbe Lezer held that Giluach is ma'akiv. Anyone said as soon as the carbon is brought, he's permitted to drink yayin. He's not yet in the midst of Giluach. There's a mitzvah for the Nazir. Guys, it's not a shot like the Nazir is a Nazir until he takes the haircut. The Nazir is a Nazir until he brings kabbanis. So according to Rebbe Lezer, until he takes the haircut. It's ma'akiv. According to other Tanoim, guys, only when he brings the kabbanis. If you don't do a haircut, so you're not yotz in the midst of Giluach. If you leave 2 hairs over, you're not yotz in the midst of Giluach.
Go beyond that. In other words, you don't take after you did the guluach and you took the hair, you didn't put the hair under the shlum.
Of course not. It's the mitzvah. It's a mitzvah.
No, it's a mitzvah.
It's not ma'at. No, there's no. Hesh, I'm telling you, bigger than that. Right. Even if you didn't take the haircut, it's not ma'at. You're asking ma'ikul. I'm telling you, bigger. You're telling me after the haircut. That's less of a chiddush. I'm telling you, even before you took the haircut. Right. Okay. Now, so therefore, you have 3 opinions, guys. 1, it's a pasuk. Like it's a bizayin. 2, you don't even need a pasuk. It's a mamish a bizayin, right? Based upon walking up the steps. And 3, it can't be that you cut his hair Pesach Al Moed logistically, because you need the lakach v'nasan. You got to take his hair and put it under the fire. If you cut Pesach Al Moed, you'd have to take his hair, walk to the Nishas Nazirim, and that's where the fire is burning, and then put it under the fire. So you have a step in between, the step of transportation, which is not part of it. It could be. We discussed that yet. We didn't discuss that yet. It could be Amri. Maybe it's a going there. Bishlam Kosim Medaber. Rabbi Yitzchak says Bishlamim is speaking about, meaning the pasuk V'Gilach Pesach Al Moed. Again, everyone's consistent, right? There's only one person who's going to hold you take a haircut Pesach Al Moed. But right now, it's not that person yet. Not every single person. Rabbi Yitzchak Amar b'shlamim hakosim v'daber. It's speaking what about a shlamim. Atam b'shlamim hakosim v'daber Pesach Al Moed. Mamish tamad loyma v'lochach say rosh nizroi makom shoyim mevashel shom hayim megaleach. The place where what he's cooking, that's where he takes the haircut. Where's he cooking? In the Lishkas HaNazira, in the southeast chamber. What does that mean? A separate halacha, guys. No, it's not discussing haircut. It's discussing kol zman shein pesach el moed psuach ena megaleach. In other words, what does it mean that he takes his haircut pesach el moed? He's not telling me location. He's telling me halacha. At which point in time is he permitted to take a haircut? Meaning, if he would take it before the oil moed, he mess up his mitzvah giluach. He won't be yotze in the mitzvah giluach. Yeah, right. In the morning, right before opening the opening bell, right before they open up. Okay, and finally, Reb Shimon Shazuri Yomer the gilach hanas pesach oil moed taka guys right there. V'loy nazira, but not a nazira. So he would take a haircut pesach oil moed, but not a nazira. A female nazira would not take pesach oil moed. If you look at the Yomid Beis, guys, look at the Yomid Beis. So the first one, the gilach hanas pesach oil moed, this manshu pesuach. Can't be you take a haircut at the opening at Oy Moed, then Cain Havli Derech Bezoyin, Ela Bisman, Pesach Besuach means when it's open up. So every single opinion now, no one held that what? You take the haircut at the opening of Moed. Shimon Shazuri says, yes, there is the Nazir takes it there, but not the Nazira. Guys, you hear? So Shimon Shazuri says, literally, the Gilach Nishrai Pesach Al Moed, the Nazir takes his haircut there. But the Nazira does not. Now, what does it mean the Nazira does not? Does not what? But, what? So look at Taisvis. V'loy Nazira, mashma she taima dekra, shema yiskarubar, pirche kahuna, im tiglach pesach ha'omayeh, we'll see that in a second. El medina megalachas, b'makam tsnua, no one should see her. The young Kahanim that are there, they shouldn't see a woman in blazing cup taking her haircut. So she would take her haircut in Medina now, and then she would go ahead and what? She would ostensibly bring it and burn it. Ostensibly, that might be a machlokes. Be aware, there's a Shitas Rishonim, Naziv Nazira, she doesn't have to take a haircut at all. Literally. In other words, you read it. The Gilach is Pesach El Moed. Shimon Tzuri says the Nazir takes his haircut at Pesach El Moed. Nazir, when it says Nazir B'lei Nazira, it's not only telling me the location, it's telling me halacha. She doesn't take it all, which is a chiddush nifla. Okay, so we have a bunch of shitas, guys. We have a bunch of shitas rishonim. Where do they take a haircut or not? Everyone seems to say, when it says V'gilach Esreish Nizrei Pesach Oil Moed, it does not mean the Oil Moed Derech Bezoyin, or because it's not simultaneously that Lokach V'Nosan or Lokach Mivashel under the Eish. Therefore, except one opinion. One opinion says the Lokach Pesach Oil Moed, the Nazir does take it. He does take it, but what? The Nazira does not. So those are different shittas. In the Oil Moed. Yeah, right there. Right. Again, there's the Gemara discusses that. We're going to see that in Gemara. That's why I didn't touch it. Okay, says the Gemara. They'll be aroused. They'll see a woman and they'll be aroused. They said to Shimon Zuri, according to you, Saita should disprove you. That they put her up in front of Hashem, the Saita. I want you worried about Pirchei Kahuna v'leichashinon. Shem yiskarbu Pirchei Kahuna. Amalahen. So Shimon Zuri told them, Zu kacheles b'keses. This woman Nazira, she's coming like a woman. She's wearing makeup. She looks nice. Zu eda kacheles b'keses. But we go ahead and we made the Nazira, the Saita, we make her as ugly as possible, and therefore we're not worried about the Yiskoru of Pirchei Kahuna. Okay, anyway, that's the sugya. That's the sugya of the Kabbanis. Now, what about the here? We said, so now you have the here. The Rambam brings down the order is Chatas, Oil, and Shlomim, and then you Megaleach and the Shlomim. That's the way I learned. The Rambam brings again. Chatas, first, get rid of your Chet, Kapara. Oila, right? Chashivas of an Oila, which is the Korban Kodesh Kedoshim, and then the Shlomim. The Shlomim has two unique halachas. One, it's accompanied by these wafers, and two, time. It's like toida. It's like a toida. It's like a half a toida. Toida has 4 sets. This has 2. This has 2, but at the same time of a toida. Usually a shlam is eaten for 2 days and a night. This is only for a day and a night. Right? That's a unique halacha. Now, what did they do with the seir? Okay, what did they do with the seir? So let's look at the pasuk again. What would they do with the seir? Let's see. V'gilach hanazir pesach ha'omayid es roish hanizroi. V'lokach es sa'ar roish hanizroi. They would take the hair on the head of his crown, literally. V'nasa ala eish, and they would put it on the fire. Asher tachas zevach hashlamim. So now the word zevach is extra. It could say tachas hashlamim. Guys, until now, when you said the word, look, you said the word the shlamim, right? Zevach hashlamim. And now you're saying Zevach Hashlamim again. So this Zevach is going to be extra. We're going to darshan this pasuk, okay? So he's taking a haircut, you take it, and you put it underneath the fire that it's cooking in. And now you're going to give from this fire, guys, you're cooking, you're going to give the right front foot, which is called the Zroya B'Shela, the cooked Zroya. Literally, cooked Zroya. Okay, now. They would take the hair of the Nazir, and if they would go ahead and they would take a giluach in the Medina, not in the Beis Hamikdash, they wouldn't go ahead and put it underneath the fire. That's discussing the teglachas of a tar the Nazir. They wouldn't throw it underneath the dud at all. So according to the Tanakama, fellas, there is 2 places and 2 possible karbanis. You have the haircut of a Nazir Tameya, the haircut of a Nazir Tahira. The only one that gets underneath the dud is the Tahira, and only when it's in the Beis Hamikdash. The Tameya, even if it's in the Beis Hamikdash, and usually it is, you're not going to at all. The Tahira, if it's in the Medina outside the Beis Hamikdash and brings the hair, you will not. Good. That's the first shita. What? I'm saying that if you did, it's not that day. Yeah, that day. Correct. As long as it's open. Rabbi Omer hakol mishalchin tachas hadud. Medina Bulvad. So like Remeya, you hear this? Listen, guys. Like Remeya, the Tameya could be underneath the Dud if it was in the Beis HaMikdash, and the Tahira, even if it's outside the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, so again, outside. According to the Tanakama, only one gets underneath the Dud. It needs 2 things: 1 Tahira, 2 in the Beis HaMikdash. Lacking any one of those, it doesn't make it. If it's Tameya, it doesn't make it. If it's Tahira Chutzlam, it doesn't make it. Like Reb Meir, it depends. Like Reb Meir, the most important thing is the Tahira and the Beis HaMikdash. If it has one of those, it makes it. So if you're Tahira, even if you're outside, you make it, right? Tameya outside, lacking both, you don't. It's A, it's Tameya, and B, it's not in the Mikdash. So those do not, but let's say Tameya in the Mikdash. So you got one of them. You got the Mikdash. It would be underneath the Dud. It would be underneath the Dud. Guys, you good? It has to be. What happens if it's not? What happens if you don't do it? But let's say the guy takes the haircut outside. You'd be outside, right? We just did Toisus, then the 0 would be outside. We said B'diavad, this is all B'diavad. Okay, so now. Noito se roishai nizroi. Okay, Tana Rabbanan. This is Torah Shabbat Peh. The Torah is not, the Torah Shabbat does not go ahead and allude to this at all. You know what they would do before they would put the hair underneath the pot? Listen what they would do. They cut his hair. They would take the soup. Again, you have a shlomim cooking there. They would take the soup. For noisin al say roish nisroi. They would put the soup on top of his hair, and then take the soupy hair and put it like that's the brother of soupy sales for the anyway. They take the soupy hair and they would put it underneath the underneath the dud. Now, where in the world, where does a lutein soupy hair, right? Where does the Gemara know this from? Says the Gemara, Vim Shilach, guys, before we get to that, Vim Shilach Tachas Hadud, and let's say you would send the hair, Shel Chatas V'Asham, if you put the hair underneath the Chatas V'Asham Yatsa. Now, fellas, what are the three kabbanas that a Tahira brings? Chatas, Shlomim, and Oila. What did you just say over here? From Shila Tachas Adud Shel Chatas Ve. Who brings an Asham? Tameya, right? So now, from Shila Tachas Hadud Shel Chatas V'Asham Yatsa. Asham ben Nazir Tar Mi'ika. So I'm a Rav Hachi Kama. No. Vim Nazir Tamei Mishaleach Tachas Hadud Shel Asham. And if the Nazir that's Tamei would put underneath the dud of the Asham, Yatsa, he would be Yatsa. Now, it's a very Gemara, guys. Who has to burn his hair? The Tar or the Tameya? The Tar, yeah? Yeah. What does it say? And if he's Tamei and he puts it underneath the Asham, he be Yatsa. Meaning, b'di'evet he be Yatsa. Mashma lichatchila, there's a din of burning what the hair by a Tameya. Guys, what's the lashon? The lashon is, and if he puts it underneath the chatas or the asham, he be yaitza. Who brings an asham? A nazir that's tamei. So from this brisa, it's mashma. You're supposed to burn it, correct? Yaitza means b'di'evet. Lichatchila, you're supposed to burn it, but not underneath the asham. Like Reb Meir, Pashtetzik like Reb Meir, only like Reb Meir. So guys, listen to two pshatim I saw. I have a sefer called Shirei Yom. He brought in two possibilities. The hair of a nazir is asur b'hana. You can't have enough from something. What do you do with something that's asur b'hana? You bury it. You bury it, right? So what does it mean, Yaitza? You should have buried the hair. But if you don't bury the hair and you burn it instead, you'd be Yaitza. That's one pshat. You're supposed to bury it. It's asur b'hana. If you don't bury it, but you burn it, you be yaitza. That's what. That's b'di'evet. Of yaitza. Okay, that's the shverkai. What do you mean yaitza? What? It's a mitzvah. I guess you say it's a mitzvah to bury it. You say it's a mitzvah to get rid of it. That okay. The Karen Shekasha. Listen to this teretz. This teretz the Chazon Ish said it, and it was elaborated upon by the Grizz, by the Briskerov guys. Listen to this pshat. The nazir, according to Reb Meir, who holds that the nazir that's tamei has to take a haircut. If he took his hair, no, it's not, that you have to put it underneath the pot, right? They would save the hair, and then when he became tahar and burnt his other hair, they burn it as well. In other words, there wasn't a separate burning for the tameya; it was burnt with the shlamim. It was burnt with the kosher hair. With the kosher, the tahar hair. That's what you should have done. Good? That's what you should have done. Yes? But if you didn't do that, you didn't wait for the tahira, but you burnt the hair with your asham when you were still tameya, then you're yaitza the chiyah. Then you're yaitza the chiyah. That's what he's saying. Then you're yaitza the chiyah. So again, really the mitzvah is to taka, according to Reb Meir, there's a mitzvah to burn the hair of a nazir that's tamei. When do they burn it? With the tahira. When he again, he's gonna have to wait 30 days to hair grow back, and then go ahead and bring another carbon. He will be yaitza with that. Then you would go ahead, if you take lichatchila, you're supposed to take the tamei hair, and with the tahira hair and throw it. However, if he didn't wait for 30 days, he took the hair from the tamei and put it into asham, he'd be yaitza. The Briskerov explains it like this. The din of giluach is not a tamei meistik din, it's a nazidik din. It's a din in the Naziris. When you wait 7 days, that's a din in tumah of tumas meis. Day 3, day 7, spitz, good. That you take a haircut, is a din in Naziris. So you're bringing karbanis now for Naziris. As long as it's underneath lichatchil, it should be when you finish the Naziris. But if it's not, if the karbanis are also tumah, you don't have to bring a carbon when you're tamei, do you? Of course not. Only when you're tamei Naziris. So even the carbon of the Naziris is a Naziris tikadin. Therefore, if you go ahead and burn underneath that, you'll be yaitza. That's the hezbollah, I think, of the gris. That's the way to explain things. In other words, if guys tell me to mismace, guys, he never brings the carbon. He's bringing the carbon. You see, it's a din in the Naziris. Okay. Anyway, so that would be a very beautiful shot in Yotza. Yotza is a very shver lashon, guys. What mitzvah is there to burn your hair? So two pshatim. One, your Yotza getting rid of the Isuri Hana by not burying, by burning, or your Yotza b'di'eved, you should have waited to bring it with the hair of the Tahira. Since you didn't wait, nonetheless you will be Yotza. Okay, now let's get back to soupy hair. What's the source for soupy hair? That you have to go ahead and put the roitiv on the hair. Like, roitiv. I think in Israel they have this pizza roitiv. Anyway, Minani Mili. How do you know you got to put the roitiv on the hair? Amar Rava Makra. It says, the pasuk says, Asher tachas zevach hashlamim, right? That you put it Asher tachas zevach hashlamim, mi zivchoi yehei tachtov. From the zevach should be tachtov. So, fellas, what does it mean? From the shlomim should be tachtov. Now, I can't take the korban shlomim and burn it because I can eat it. You're not allowed to go ahead and just burn a shlomim. When it's nicer, when it's left over, you can burn it. Guys, listen to me. When it says the lashon, asher tachas zevach hashlamim, that's underneath the zevach shlomim, meaning from the shlomim should be tachtov. So from the shlomim has to be underneath in the fire. Good. I can't take the korban shlomim itself. That'd be asur. So what do I take? I take the zevach. Mizivcha yei tachtov. From shila tachas adut shel chatos yaitza, my timer. It says zevach to go ahead one and include a chatas. It says zevach, the word zevach comes to go ahead one and include a chatas. That if you go ahead and put it in the chatas, it'll be yaitza. My timer, amakra, it says zevach hashlamim. It's extra because it says the rabbis as chatas ve'asham. That if you go ahead and put it in the eish, you'll be yaitza. You already used it to tell me that for the right div, guys. You used it zevach to teach me the roitiv. How could you use it to tell me extra for chatos? Says the Gemara in Cain, if only it was coming to tell you was the roitiv, then lemakra may roitiv hashlamim. Why did it say zevach hashlamim? Shma mina l'rabbeis chatos v'asham. That if you go ahead and put it underneath the fire, you'll be yaitza. The ema shekula chatos v'asham hu asa, right? Maybe the word zevach only tells me to teach me that the sayer of the Rosh, if you put it at the chatzas oshin, you'll be yaitza, but not to teach me soup. And kain lema shlamim v'zevach. Say shlamim, and then the word zevach afterwards. Asher tachas shlamim v'zevach. My zevach shlamim. Why do you put zevach shlamim? Shmamino by that order. Shmamino tarti. You had two dinim that you could put it underneath the chatas, and in addition, you have to put soup underneath it. Tanrabanan hakol all nazirim, right? Hayim shalchin tachas hadud. Right, they would go ahead and they would put their hair underneath the shlamim. Chutz mi tamei shegilach min Medina, with the exception of the tamei that was the gilach min Medina, neishes ore nikbar, because it's supposed to be buried. These are the words of Meya. Again, what was our rule of thumb? That you need in Torah Meya, you need one. You need one or other. You need either tahar or mizbeh or migdash. Over here, you're lacking both. You're tamei and outside. Right, Rabbi Yehuda, I mean, no taharim kan v'kan. Doesn't make a difference. The key being what? That you're tahar. So whether you take the haircut outside or inside, you're hameshalchin. They put it into the Torah to have tameim kan v'kan lo yichai you meshalchin. Tameim not. The chachamim say hakol lo meshalchin tachas adud. This is the original Tanakh. This is of our Mishnah. Anything with nothing would get underneath there. Chutz min tar shav migdash neshenasa kimitzvasai. Any guys not tameim not big a chiddush. Tahira chutz also not. Tahira chutz also not. And Bez Hashem tomorrow.